You don't stop playing because you grow old because you stop playing.
So Judson is our final fifth element of community well-being. So this is the first time for many of us to see Judd. And Judd, why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself and why community well-being is so important for you?
Whew, boy, that gave me goosebumps, Brent. Community well-being has been something that I've grown into, and it's part of me as my soul is. I guess if I could go back to where I began professionally, I was a 20-something-year-old who had no clue what they wanted to do with their life. You know, my whole life I had parents that said, Judd, either you be a doctor or you're going to be a failure. That was their whole attitude. You know, I came from a family of doctors. But, you know, and that was the attitude. And so here I was in 20-something. I was an EMT working at one of the big hospitals in Morgantown at Ruby Memorial Hospital. And I was getting burned out. And I'm like, and Brent, this was right after I think you went to Japan. This was right after I finished my bachelor's and that thing. And I was still in Morgantown and West Virginia University. And I'm like, I had a friend at the time who was an environmental health and safety manager at a place called Bombardier Aerospace. And he was like, Judd, you know, I hear you talking and you like to help people. I understand that. That's, you know, I commend you on the whole helping people when they're hurt. But have you ever thought about helping people, preventing people from getting hurt? You know, you're doing the whole retroactive thing. They're already hurt and you're trying to minimize the damage. Have you ever thought about preventing that from happening in the first place? I'm like, what do you mean? And then he said, come out to my work and I'll show you, spend a day with me and I'll show you what I do. And that was an epiphany moment for me, guys. I was like, you mean I can actually prevent people from getting hurt or dying by promoting things like, you know, taking ownership of what you do, you know, doing what you do with passion. And it gets back into the whole career well-being thing, right? Using your strengths in your job and creating a culture where people don't want to cut corners, where they don't want to do things that might create an unsafe condition that causes someone to get hurt. And I'm like, I can get behind that. And so I went and got my master's in safety management. And the first company that hired me was Sony Electronics. And I worked my way from just kind of a grunt level, going out to the manufacturing process and just looking at machine guarding, making sure no one's going to get crushed or blow anything up. And they found that we have some things in the corporate office that we want to get your head around this and see what you might want to do with some of these projects. And so I started helping corporate headquarters with some projects where they wanted to there was kind of a little culture barrier, a language barrier between what they wanted to do and what was going on at, manufacturing centers across the United States or at the time, or South America or Southeast Asia. And they liked the fact that I could get people to do things, and so I was put on projects like that, and through that I grew into that role where I was working with different people from different cultures and trying to get them on the same page so that we could work together towards a common goal, break through those barriers. And the common goal is that we're part of a big family, right? At the time it was Sony. and the common goal is that we have different things that we want to accomplish. And with that common goal in mind, getting them on board and just getting everyone going in the right direction. And from that, I was headhunted to a company called Zurich Services Corporation. And Zurich is one of the biggest large insurance companies. They provide general liability, fire, workers' comp, you name it. All of the major lines of coverage that a major corporation would need, they provided those services. And so instead of doing it internally for one company, I started doing it for a lot of their global clients. And I learned a lot doing that as well. I'll kind of cover there was a little joke in there, but so I got comfortable with the insurance industry. And from that, though, because at the time I was raising a family, we manufactured printing plates for newspapers, as well as flexible printing plates for like packaging. Like if you have a bag of chips, the process that they would print that thing on the bag. I worked for them for a few years, and then I worked for, from there, I went and worked for Northrop Grumman in Redondo Beach, California, which was my dream job. I got to, I grew up on Transformers and Star Wars and stuff, and I got to work on projects that were classified projects for the Department of Defense, where, we would build just some incredible hardware and make it do incredible things in space. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So I did that for a few years and I loved it. Although, end of the day, it kind of went against my altruistic attitude about life and about the world being one and unified, And so from there, I went and worked for the company I just left, BBSI. And because when I was at Northrop Grumman, guys, I was like, okay, I'm helping this global machine, but I'm not helping my community at the community level where I'm working, wanting to contribute something positive to the world and applying it at the local level where I live, they gave me so much freedom. And when you look at the career well-being part of it, where you're using your strengths, you're able to network with people that have similar interests at work with you, where you can bounce ideas off of, and they can feed your energy as well. To network on that level, it was just, it got me out of bed every morning. And then COVID hit. Of course, it hit everyone. And I've had to pivot and just readapt, and I'm here now. And I really want to be able to take those experiences and just really, I want to encourage people that they have everything in their power right now to really transform their world, regardless of how uncertain everything is in their lives. I want to be able to instill that sense of hope and just be a source of certainty to them. The Wellbeing Rebellion can be that source of stability, certainty, of encouragement, and just, a place where they can find their passion again. So, and that's where I am today. And I'm just so happy, and I'm honored to be part of the team.
Wonderfully said. Wonderfully said. Yeah.
Judd, thank you very much for sharing that with us and why community is so important to you. And going forward, we are going to be the Wellbeing Rebellion. We are going to help you by giving you advice that you can start to apply to your own life, so you can have a thriving levels of well-being and live a life well lived. If any of you would like to reach out to us, please feel free to reach out, contact us. We're always willing to take care of our community and help people with their well-being. So on that note, I just want to leave you with, what commitments will you make to stay well and keep being? We love you.